I'm out at the ferry terminal, and I'll tell you what kind of night I had. This was the Monday night. It started right away. Immediately, shortly after I got in the car, I had my first call. Great, wonderful, fantastic. Then, from then on, I was getting one trip an hour, to the point where at 4 in the morning I had 140 on. It was looking pretty grim. Looking pretty sad. And I was watching, I think, the third movie of the night. It was a special on a TV show, I Dream of Jeannie. Remember that one with Barbara Eden and Larry Hagman? And before that, I saw something called Blonde Ice. It was a 1952 murder movie. And before that, there was some kind of hour-and-a-half long thing about a film from 1935 taken during the Third Reich. It just showed a lot of parades and Adolf Hitler's speeches and waving at people when they were all hailing him. And then, just as I was watching the end of the I Dream of Jeannie thing, I got a call. And the call was not far away, and it was a 6 o'clock time call, and she was going out to the ferries. So, making $140 all night, and there's $60 just landing in your lap? Yeah, I'll take it. Hell with the day shift if I'm a little late. He can keep the car into my shift a little bit, I don't care. Besides, he's done it to me so many times. I almost never am late with him. So I just sent him the text, my estimated time of arrival, and he said, okay, thanks. And that's the end of that. Now we're heading back into town on a rainy morning. High beams don't help much, do they? Okay. I'll get back to you tomorrow. It's a taxi vlog 449. It is the Tuesday evening. It's just after 7, a couple minutes after 7 o'clock. I'm getting a slightly late start tonight because in the morning I took a 6 o'clock time call when I should have parked it. But I figured, the guy on day shift, he's not there till 7. Well, I was wrong. He showed up at about 10 minutes after 7, and I was on my way speeding out to the ferries at Swartz Bay. And anyways, it all worked out. I'm starting late today because I said, well, since you're only working one day this week, work an extra hour in the end, and I'll be glad to come to work an hour late because I can have the car in the morning as long as I like, because nobody will be driving it tomorrow. I will be dropping it off so that it can receive a new engine, because the head gasket is gone, and so you can even smell exhaust inside the car because it's farting out through what used to be a head gasket into the engine compartment, and then some of those vapors get vented to the outside, and of course that gets sucked in by the car's heating HVAC system, which would be heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. My memory's still there. So one thing I forgot to mention in the last segment was that in the morning, the small hours of the morning, I guess it was 2:30 or so, I got sent to a tire shop on Douglas Street, and it was to see the police. So I pull in there, and there's a police car pulling out as I'm pulling in, and there's a guy standing there looking kind of stunned, and he's not making any moves to come towards the car. So I figured, don't want him. He doesn't want me, I don't want him. He looked kind of gooned. So I let it go. I just left and put myself back up. At about 4 o'clock, I got sent to a street in View Royal near a school and to see police. The RCMP this time. It wasn't just municipal police. This was the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. There were 2 cars there, and there were some guys with a flashlight up the hill. It was a steep driveway and it was really dark, but there was some guys with a flashlight up there, and I guess it was the police motioning the guy to come to the cab. The guy gets in the cab and he says, I give you $5 to take me away from here. I say, well, where do you want to go? Just away from here. I said, okay, fine. He was telling me some story about all his stuff and his keys and everything being in the house where he was at. And I said, well, who called for the police? He said, I don't know. I just know my stuff is in that house and my keys are in there and my truck is parked there and I can't go anywhere without my keys and I got to sleep this off because I've had a lot to drink. I said, okay. So the $5 ran out and I let him out. He wanted to stay in the car for a while because it was kind of raining outside, but you know, that's not my problem. He gave me $5 to take him $5 worth, and that was the end of that. So that was kind of a waste. Anyways, my night concluded very well with that run out to the ferries. That's what saved my night. So now I'm going to pick up the car for the last time with the old engine, and it's going to be a new engine next time I work, which will probably be Thursday night. So my week is cut a day short, and I'll get to you sometime during the end of this shift. Well, here we are once again at the airport. That's it. What are you doing? Futz. What that guy was trying to do. Yeah, we're back at the airport, and this was interesting in that I got my hour late start and it was dead until like 10 o'clock, and between 10 and about 2:30 it was quite steady. I did very well in that time, and so I was poised to have a good ending, and all I needed was a couple of long trips. Well, here's what happened. I got sent to the strip club after it was closed, and there were these guys who wandered in there they had gone to the strip club, but then they went to the McDonald's to eat something, and then they came back to the strip club to get a cab. Why didn't they call from McDonald's? Well, whatever, it doesn't make a difference really. They had 3 stops and they were going to the Western Communities. By the time I was dropping the 3rd guy off, the meter was showing $34. Well, he gave me 2 20s, and then he said, you can have another one. Gave me 3 20s. So I got $60 for a $34 fare. That means I got a $26 tip. That's wonderful. That's a cheap bottle of whiskey. And then I had another little fare, and I actually got sent out to Thetis Lake to pick up some girl who was going to work at a Tim Hortons once again in the Western Communities. And as soon as I dropped her off, I got a 4 o'clock time call, also in the Western Communities. And that one came out here to the airport, and the time is now 4:30. I just cleared from that one. So I got almost 300 on. Not bad. Not bad for a Tuesday night that was looking dead before 10 o'clock. Okay, Friday evening. Friday, we're on our way to work. And it's kind of cloudy out here. Good evening. And it's not raining, but it's cloudy. Last night, it was clear all night, but it got pretty cold. It got down to about 2 degrees. And it was a steady night. After that young woman ran right in front of my cab. And the rest of the night went very well. I had a lot of trips, almost filled up the sheet. Grand total about 300 or so. Can't complain for a Thursday. That means that Tuesday and Thursday were better than average, and they made up for the Wednesday that I didn't work. Well, almost. We'll see how good the Friday night is. And it's the 31st. It's the last day of March. And we got some cherry blossoms going here and there. We got birds singing. You can probably hear them in the background. And hopefully that was the last cold night. But probably not. We might have a few more. Although it is time to start wearing lighter jackets and lighter shirts and putting all the winter stuff away. Taking the leather jackets to the cleaners and putting everything else in the wash and starting again. Another summer. Well, let's say relatively dry season. And not much to show you right now, except that if you look in the distance over there, about center screen, that's one of the weaker looking cherry trees we got. And if you can see way out in the distance, there's mountains. It is now 6:30 in the morning. It's exactly 12 hours after I started. And I had a good night. It was quiet before around 9. And then I cleared from a call just after 9. And after I cleared from that call, I was going non-stop until about 4. And between 4 and 6, I tried to watch something on my phone, but I fell asleep twice because I was so exhausted. You know, the adrenaline gets you going when you're busy, and you're working hard, and you're busy, and you're busy, and then it drops dead, and then you just kind of collapse because the adrenaline isn't holding you up anymore, or at least that's what happens to me. So I did in excess of 400, which is acceptable for a Friday night. I did feel kind of rushed several times between 9 and 4. But, you know, that's better than it being busy between 10 and 3. That gives you 2 extra hours of being busy. So that's why, you know, the money's good. The money's very good. I'll be getting some more whiskey this weekend. And now I'm on my way home. And look at that. There's almost daylight out there. Oh, yeah. At one point, at about midnight, one of my wiper blades came off and flew out into the street. But I was busy with a customer, so I wanted to do the customer first. And then I went back looking for the wiper blade. I couldn't find it. And 2 hours after that, I was sort of in the same area. And I thought I'd go back, but of course I went on the other side of the street this time. And I found it. And I stuck it right back on there. And there it is. Well, if it falls off again, it's not my problem. Because I am not going to be driving this thing until Monday night, and now it's Saturday morning. So, hope yours is better than mine.